Breaking news this morning in the banking sector. Morgan Stanley CEO James Gorman said he is stepping down from the leadership within the next year. Gorman making the announcement at Morgan Stanley's annual shareholder meeting this morning. The battle to become his replacement is on. Gorman says Morgan Stanley's board has identified 3 possible candidates for the role. He's going to stay on as executive chairman for a time after the new CEO takes over. Gorman's been CEO since 2010. That makes him one of the longest running U.S. bank CEOs. He is, by the way, 64 years old. But this to me raises, this is a bit of a surprise, I think, but and Simeon, I want to bring you into this as well. If you think about the heads of the largest banks in the U.S., you think about a Jamie Dimon, think about a Brian Moynihan, like a lot of these guys, Jane Fraser is newer in her role, but a lot of these guys have been there for a long time. So you wonder when we are going to see a more wholesale rollover within that sector.
Jamie Dimon was at the head of JP Morgan when I was interning there back in college, way back when. But yeah, the transition plans that we're looking at here, and we had even had a couple years back a major transition and even a fighting for the top role at Goldman Sachs as well, which netted in David Solomon being selected for that position. But again, this is someone who's been there since 2010.
The benches are deep. We know the benches are deep. And so the biggest challenge in a transition is, of that deep bench, who do you have to lose when somebody wins? Sure. So to me, that's more of an issue than the ability to pick someone who's going to be a great steward. It's if you lose a couple of people who lose out in that race and go to a private equity firm or whatever, how do you make sure that the bench of the bench is there to step in?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Well, we're going to keep watching that. Morgan Stanley shares not a huge amount of change in those on this announcement.